my gosh, it's so fun to be here. Holy crap, opening for Kevin Nealon. Just earlier this week, I was on KTVB saying I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live when I grew up. And then 48 hours later, I found out I get to be here with you fine people tonight. Round of applause for yourselves. We made it. It was weird Boise weather again, as if this is a new situation. It's kind of hard to get here with all the things going downtown. If you've been around Boise for a while, though, you know that's pretty normal. Sometimes it gets a little extreme. Any of you guys remember Snowmageddon a few years ago? I remember it vividly. I was still a breastfeeding mother at the time. Every time I tried to pump, it came out like soft serve. Yeah. I'm a Boise, Idaho native. Any other natives out there? Everyone else is from California? I get it. It's kind of hard to rise to fame as a comedian when you're here in Boise, Idaho. I try all the different ways to get the word out about shows. I foolishly recently tried Nextdoor. I only got on it, I know. My HOA is like, you should get on Nextdoor so that you can communicate with your neighbors and form bonds and know what's going on. And I was like, that sounds good. But if any of you have been on Nextdoor, it's not what it seems. So I saw they actually have a place where you can list events, and I was like, oh, that's great, that would be helpful. So I posted, come enjoy a night of laughter and connection and fun at this comedy show. And I woke up in the morning and someone named Sharon had written all caps, no, period. And a closer look I saw that someone had hearted the no. Someone named Rayanne from Austin Creek Subdivision. I keep thinking I might run into them when I'm out and about, but they won't be here tonight because they hate joy. I'm like, what is wrong with people? But yeah, on Nextdoor, you start seeing all the different posts of things that are going on. It's really like 98% just pure complaining, as if people are gonna look at it, like, hey, to whoever was driving the beige Prius too quickly through our subdivision, shame on you. Oh, I'm sure that's where they're getting their information. Yeah, a bunch of complainers. The other 2% is just that one guy who's like, hey, I have someone's cat. It came in through my dog door. Anyway, it is fun. I do like to get out for a night out, and get dressed up. I even shampooed my hair today for you guys. I'm just kidding. I'm on like day 6 of dry shampoo. You know it's finally time to shampoo and really lather it up when you go like this, and enough little crumblies come off your scalp that you can start making baked goods. I know. I go up to my kids, would you like a spot of tea with your head crumb cake? It's delicious. It is fun, though, to get dressed up. I actually have given birth to 5 babies. Yeah, thank you. A lot of people are like, man, Megan, that's a lot of kids. But I also used to be Mormon, so I always felt like I was way behind on my procreation quota. Just could never quite keep up. One of those babies was 11 pounds. I know. Yeah. They're so worth it, but where once resided this tight little is just, hello. Just cavernous remains of what once was. Anyway. I guess what I'm saying is when your body goes through all those changes, it's like an accordion's like huge and then small and huge and small. I really came to terms with how much my body had changed and what all the loose skin and stretch mark situation was when I went and got a spray tan and it looked like a set of mini blinds. Oof. Yeah, they wreck your body, pretty much. Any other parents out there? Pure destruction. Joyful little spirits, absolute destruction and pandemonium. But it's worth it. I think, though, it's sad to have to come to terms with things. I like to wear, like, cute little fitted outfits. It's very much stretch. Really try to tighten things up. Because, like, trying to put on a brassiere these days is sort of like trying to put one on one of those air tube wobbly arm guys outside of the car dealership. It's like at the end of the shift, and they're like, hey, Rod, garage. Go ahead and shut it down for the night. Just kind of scoop it all up, just lasso them in. Yeah, it's unpleasant. One of the last gigs I had before the pandemic, I was actually emceeing this like really nice gala, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna go all out. So I got this really hot little number. It was super low cut in the front, totally backless. And I was like, wait a second, there's a lot going on here. I don't normally show like a lot of skin, and I was just like, looking back there, I'm like, I need some True Match foundation back here for my back zits. It's like, maybe she's born with it. Maybe she needs better coverage for her disgusting skin. Anyway, and then I'm like, well, what kind of even bra do you wear when you're wearing something that's that low cut? Some of you ladies know, you get those little adhesive kind of like chicken cutlet situations. I was like, oh man. I'm like looking at the box at Target. I was like, there's no way that girl has had any babies yet, but we'll try it. So I get home and I try to just like start gathering all the loose skin. I'm like, stick it in here. I think I bent my nipple under there. Like, And then you just, if you've seen them, they have the teeniest tiny little, just like the tiniest little plastic clip that you pull it together with all your might. You just pull it, and then boom, you've got cleavage. And I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here. Those things are like the Josh Groban of undergarments. They're like, you raise me up. Or like even later in the song after the key change, it's like, you raise me up. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I'm like, let's go, girls, because I know they're askew under all of that madness. So I walk in, I'm like, oh, I'm clearly turning heads. I was really feeling myself, and I was like, this year's hottest fashion trend, early onset midlife crisis. And I'm like, nailed it. And I'm just shimmying around. I get up there to start all the festivities, and I heard this weird sound, and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just hear there? I was really feeling alarmed because as you stand in front of an audience of people all in their finest, it's nerve-wracking when it sounds like Hannibal Lecter is in your dress. I'm like, hey guys, this is where the party's at. I was like, okay, hold really still. I made it through the evening though, and eventually I got to the point of needing to deconstruct this monstrosity. And it's not just like a pull the Band-Aid off type of a situation. No, you know. No. You gotta brace yourself. You just gotta hold on to that, and you just gotta pull it. You just gotta pull with all your might. Ooh, look at that stretch. It's like pulling taffy. It's like all of this sweat just starts cascading down my body, just washing away every last shred of self-confidence. Those things are like the Hoover Dam for boob sweat. It was totally insane. I did start working out a while back. I wanted to get things on track. I wanted to feel strong. And so I started working with a trainer. I also took up a sport of pole dancing. Thank you. Which, if you haven't tried it, it's difficult. And also, I know it sounds sexy. It's not as much when you're on and you just all this loose skin, and it sort of sounds like you're letting out the air of a balloon as you. All right, let's try again. Oh, but I stayed committed. I did not realize how much it just like exercises every single muscle in your body, and ones you didn't even know. I finally learned how to do one of the like flippy upside down moves, which is really pretty difficult. And then I was met with another harsh reality of all the slack that's available with all the loose. I'm like suddenly in an upside down car wash of my own boobs just smacking me in the face. Oh my goodness. I had some dude tell me once, he was like, oh, that sounds so hot. Do you have your nipples pierced? And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, can you picture that? Be like, I came in like a wrecking ball. Like, it's like, no, that's not. It would be like medieval weaponry, like, oh, watch out. Is that enough about boobs? I don't know. I'm telling you, man, when you have so many kids, and then I look at them now, and by the way, my oldest is 23, my youngest is 7. The oldest is married and about to have my second grandbaby. What? I feel like they just drooped a couple extra inches just as proxy from like being near all of that. Oh, it is fun to have kids, except for every day I sort of feel like 525,000. Oh my gosh, I'm like making eye contact with him. He's like, 525,600 dishes. 525,000 toys upon the floor. 525,000 things go unfinished. Just when I think I've caught up, there's always something more. And all the kids are like, Mom. All the kids are like, Mom! And I'm like, oh my gosh. There's never a moment to rest. If the comedy thing doesn't work out, I'll just get into Broadway musicals. McCaleb, the kooky musical. I think it's coming. You lose yourself a little bit when you have kids. Things have to change. I remember the day that I traded in my dream vehicle, which was an orange Jeep Wrangler Sahara Unlimited Edition. Any Jeep Wrangler drivers out there? All right, here are a couple of you. If you don't know, if you drive a Jeep Wrangler, you are not only driving the coolest car on the road, it is a transformer, you guys. It's literally a transformer. But there's actually something really special that happens between Wrangler drivers. You're going down the road, you see one coming at you, you're looking so sharp, and you make eye contact with that person, and you give a little, and you're part of something bigger than you. It's camaraderie that you just don't get when you're driving a 2010 gray Honda Odyssey. I remember when I traded that car in and that van was sitting on my driveway like a beached whale, cooing its siren song at me, this is the new you. No. You guys, I have never driven drunk, but I have driven depressed. And to me, that feels just as dangerous. It's fun. How are you guys feeling tonight? It's pretty incredible to have a room full of people who actually chose laughter. We need that. We need that in our lives. I am the youngest of 6 kids. Yeah, in a blended household. Obviously, that's probably a little bit of evidence of why I need so much attention. I always felt like I was the dumbest kid. Like, they must have ran out by the time I was born. And we'd be playing Mad Libs, and they were putting words like lugubrious and surreptitious. And I'd be trying to play along like I knew what they were talking about. I'd be like, syrup is delicious. And I'm like, no, Megan, that's not really what that means. I'm like, are you sure? I feel like that's probably something. And so, that's all right. As a child, too, I always got the same things on all of my report cards. It always said, pleasure to have in class, and talks excessively in class. And yet they were teaching me all these things like math and science and stuff that I would never use. Nobody once said, you know that you can actually use that as a skill to like make people laugh or to do public speaking. Like these are things that I eventually figured out. It just took me until I was 43 to decide that I didn't need to have a high score on all the tests, but I don't know, it's a weird life. I am divorced. I know that's a shock. Like, who wouldn't want to just stay tethered to that sane woman for their whole life? And I was married in the Mormon way, and I was planning on the eternity situation. And then it turned out that as soon as we got divorced, he immediately remarried after my 16-year marriage. Nothing says he's just not into you, honey. Like an immediate remarriage, which was really okay. It made me feel like, okay, there's nothing else I could have done. But what I realized right away was I was actually the second wife already. So now there's a new wife coming in. And in the Mormon church, they get to be sealed for eternity to, I think, as many women as they want. And so there I am, like, being asked to sign this paperwork so that I can have, like, the sisters in heaven. And I'm like, I realized that the whole polygamy thing went away here, as far as we know in the Mormon church I was in, but it's alive and well in heaven. And anyway, so I took care of that, left the church. Actually, it wasn't all bad. I I just feel like there's some just interesting things that come from that, and I really, at one point I was visiting a church history site where actually Joseph Smith was martyred. It was in Carthage in Illinois. And I was like, is that the Carthage? And it was kind of cool because I was like, wait a second, what's going on here? And I thought how neat it was that someone could be that committed. Have you ever been that committed you would take something to the death? Like, whether he was the true prophet or not, he believed it to the death. And whether the polygamy thing was, I don't really know. There's a whole bunch of things. That's not what this whole set is about. I just remember having my eyes open up because I was like, you know what? He was really committed, and that's pretty impressive. He was actually more like the OG Bryan Adams. He was more Bryan Adams than even Bryan Adams was, because he was like, I'll fight for you, I'll lie for you, sleep with your wife for you, and then I'm gonna die for you. The church is true. Anyway, sometimes I just like to make these observations. The musical numbers, that's where it's at. I'm about to finish up here, but now I'm like, ooh, I want to dig deep. What else should I sing? Like a lullaby? Should I swaddle you up to my saggy? No. No. I will leave you with a fun fact here, though, because I have to when I'm in Boise. I used to get really nervous about performing, where I would run into people out in the community. But I wanted to let you guys know that I did actually lose my virginity in a orange Volkswagen bus in the TCBY parking lot at the corner of Gary Lane and State Street. And they did say to me, as a child, as a young child in the church, they said, the Spirit of the Lord will withdraw from anyone who is in sexual transgression. A 17-year-old boy will not withdraw. Nearly quick enough. And that was how I got pregnant the first time. You guys know it's a Jimmy John's there, though, now, right? That's what the kids are calling me these days. So I want you guys to think of me whenever you drive by there. All right, you guys, I know that I'm kind of a nut job, and I really appreciate you guys being here. You don't turn into this kookmeister overnight. I was a weirdo as a kid. I ate a lot of cat food as a child. What can I say? I loved cats. I was under the impression that eating a large amount of cat food would turn me into one. And I had no reason to think my sister was lying to me. Obviously, it didn't work. Turns out the side effects took a little bit longer. I can see as I've grown into an adult, a little more each day, I've turned into a cougar. All right, that's all my time. Enjoy Kevin.